Hello and a very warm welcome to this yoga video with me, Carly, and I am delighted to have you here today to practice yoga with me. So today I'm particularly excited because I'm going to be sharing with you one of the most well-known poses of yoga, which is warrior pose. So we're going to look at different ways we can do warrior, and warrior is a really good pose for energizing us and feeling strong. So last week we did quite gentle poses sitting down, which was lovely, but this week it's all about being energized and being warriors. So before we crack on with the warrior poses, we are going to do our warm-up. So we're going to do our sun salutations, which we've done in previous classes. So you should know what you're doing. So we're going to get straight on and warm up our bodies with our sun salutations. So I'm going to go back to my mat. All right, so starting at the top, if you've got a mat, obviously be at the top of the mat, but you're going to just need room to put your foot behind you. So standing nice and tall, so this is Tadasana pose, mountain pose. Just getting yourself settled and ready. Yoga isn't about not rushing, it's about just focusing on what the body's doing. And just taking some nice deep breaths before we begin. Taking the breath right down to the belly, making the belly get bigger as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, belly gets smaller. So let's begin. Breathing in, stretch up, look up. Breathe out, bending down. Tickle your toes. As you breathe in, coming up to the tips of your fingers, looking ahead of you. Getting a nice stretch in the legs, the back. And then we step back to downward facing dog, pushing into the hands, aiming to get our heels on the floor. If you can't, that's fine. And maybe just walking your legs out here, warming up. Nice, nice. So just really gently warming ourselves up. And as we breathe out, come forward into plank pose. Let's hold it for 1, 2. Knees go down, feet go down, chest goes down to the floor. On the next in-breath, push into the hands, coming up into upward facing dog. And then bending your knees, tucking the toes and coming back to your downward facing dog. And just staying here for a moment, looking forward between your hands, that's where your foot's going to go. And then stepping forward, big lunge. Remember which foot you step forward with, because next time we'll do the other foot. And the back foot comes forward to meet the front foot. Hanging here for a moment. And then breathing in, stretching up. Breathing out, hands come down to your sides. Moment of stillness. Before having a fidget, sorting out your clothes, getting ready for the next round. Okay, and breathe in, stretch up, look up, big stretch. Breathing out, bending forward. Touching the toes, tickle, tickle. And then coming up onto those tips of your fingers, looking forward ahead of you. Good, and then we come back into the downward facing dog. Pushing into the hands, trying to get our heels on the floor. And let's walk the dog out here. So bending one knee at a time, pushing into the feet. That's it, nice. And then coming forward over your hands into plank pose, holding it here for 1, 2, knees down, feet down, chest down. Breathing in, pushing into the hands, lifting your chest, looking at the ceiling for upward facing dog. Strong legs. And then tucking the toes, pushing up into downward facing dog. And remember to put the other foot forward, so the opposite foot to what you did last time. So looking forward between your hands and a big step forward. And in the lunge for a moment before bringing the back foot to the front. And maybe while we're here, just hang here for a moment, taking hold of the elbows. Maybe swaying from side to side, doing a nice forward bend. Lovely, and next in-breath, reaching to the sky. And breathing out, hands by your side. And just have a moment of stillness in Tadasana, mountain pose. Just noticing how the body's changing, if the heart's a little faster. Noticing how the body feels, how the mind feels. Lovely. So we're going to go into our first warrior, which is actually called Warrior One now. So standing nice and tall. If you've got a mat, you can be in the middle of the mat. If you haven't got a mat, just make sure you've got room to have your legs quite wide. And we're just going to step our legs apart. Okay, so just for the moment, legs are apart, feet are facing forward. Now I'd like you to turn one of your feet around to face, with my mat, I'm facing the top end of my mat, the short bit of my mat. And the other foot remains that way for the moment. I feel like I need a bit of a wider stance now, so maybe push your legs a little bit further apart. And then you're going to start to turn towards the front. So lifting the back toe up and twisting to face the front. Okay, and now what you're going to do, as you breathe in, you're going to lift your hands up and bend the front knee. So breathe in and lunge down. And just hold it for a moment here. Feeling strong, arms are strong and active. And then coming out for a moment, the back foot can go down. And just having a little rest, it's quite challenging. So let's have a little rest. And we'll do it again. So going up onto the tiptoe, arms are by your side. And as you breathe in, bend into the front leg, lift your hands up. This is Warrior One. Strong like a warrior, powerful, pushing into the feet. Don't have your elbows up too high. I mean, not your elbows, sorry, I mean your shoulders. Don't have your shoulders too high near your ears. Try and keep them down. And then pushing out again. Lovely, so now we're going to do what's called a humble warrior. So it's the same position with our legs. We're going to bend down, but what we're going to do, so watching for a moment, you're going to take your hands behind you and clasp them. And as you bend forward, you're going to tip forward over your thigh and lift your hands up to the sky. And just resting your chest on your thigh, taking some deep breaths and then pushing out. So let's do that together. So starting in the position where your hips are facing forwards, hand is clasped behind your back. And as you bend into the front leg, you don't have to come too high on your tippy toes, a little bit that your heel will come off. Start to tip forward, hands over your head, chest over is lying across your thigh. You're looking down at the floor and then pushing out. So that's called Humble Warrior. Good, now let's come to the front. And just stay here for a while. You can have your hands on your hips, standing up nice and tall. Taking some deep breaths. And then we're going to do the other side. So now twist the other foot. Like I said, if you have a mat, it will be the short side of the mat that your foot's pointing towards. If you don't have a mat, it's just sort of pointing forwards. And then we start to twist the hips round to face that front foot. And the back foot's going to start to twist. You're going to come up onto your tiptoe. So your foot needs to sort of be facing directly forward, a little angle, a little diagonal off to the side there. And remember what we do is we breathe in, arms go up, and we start to bend into the front leg, into a lunge, back foot can come off. And just holding it here, strong like a warrior, shoulders are down. Really feel like a strong warrior. Taking breaths to help you, and then pushing out. And the arms can come down. We'll do that one more time, coming into Warrior One. So get yourself steady, take some deep breath, and on the next in-breath, breathe in, arms go up. Breathe out, bending into the front leg, coming up to the tiptoes of the back foot, pushing into Warrior One. And then pushing out again. And just putting your foot down, having a little rest, a little bit of a wiggle. Good, and let's do that Humble Warrior. So, same thing with the feet. We're going to bend into that front knee, and we're going to lift our hands behind us like we did before, resting our chest on our thigh. So, clasp your hands behind you, big breath in. And as you breathe out, bending your knee, coming forward, tipping. Your chest is resting on your thigh, your hands are up above you. Just staying here for a moment, deep breaths. And then pushing out to come up. Good, let's do that again. Big breath in and out. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, bending the knee, tipping forward, arms up above your head. Lovely, hold it here. It's good for your strength, your balance, your concentration. And push into the front foot and come out. Feet come forward, put your hands on your hips for a moment, and then you can jump your feet together and just have a rest in mountain pose. So take a few deep breaths. I'm starting to get out of breath. You see, the warriors are challenging and you need to be strong, and it does energize you because it's getting your body going, and really good for us, so well done. Now we're going to explore warrior two. This is the most famous of the warriors. Lots of people know this one in yoga. So stepping your feet apart. We're going to do what we did before. So you're going to turn your front foot to the edge of the mat, the short edge, or facing forwards. And then this back foot sort of comes in a little bit like a diagonal. This time we don't turn to face, we stay as we are, facing this way. We breathe in, we lift up our arms to this height, so they're shoulder height. Breathe in, and then we bend into the front leg. I feel like I need my feet a little bit wider apart, so maybe you do that too, because we need to be able to bend right down. So if you do, just make them a bit wider. And breathing in, lift your hands up to shoulder height. And as you breathe out, bend into that front leg and start to look over your front hand, the same hand that's over your knee, the bent knee. Good, so looking over the middle finger of that hand, and then pushing out, hands come down. And breathe in and breathe out. Now let's do that again. So breathing in, hands come up. Breathing out, bending into that front leg, looking over the middle finger of your hand that's over your knee. And then pushing out. Now, this time when we do it, what I'd like you to do, when you breathe in and bend, I want you to lift your hands up above your head. So watching now, as we breathe in, your hands will come up right above your head. As you breathe out, hands straight, legs straight, hands down. Okay, let's do that again. So breathe in, you can do it with me. Breathe in, hands all the way up, touching your palms. As you breathe out, all the way down. And again, one more time. Breathe in, bending into that leg. Hands come above your head, palms touch. Breathing out, all the way down. Wonderful. Right, both feet at the front. Hands on hips, give them a little wiggle. Give your shoulders a wiggle. Shake, shake, shake. Good. Let's do the other side. So quite easy to do the other side because all we do is turn our foot that way, and this one stays painting that way, maybe slightly at the diagonal. Experiment with the start, so practice maybe bending your leg to see if that feels fine. Good, and let's prepare. So breathing in, hands come up to shoulder height. Breathing out, bending that other knee now, looking over the middle finger of the other hand that's over the bent knee. And then coming out by pushing in to your foot, and calves come down. Good, let's do that again. So breathing in, hands come up. Imagine someone's pulling your fingers with strings, so you're nice and wide. And then breathing out into the bend, bending that front knee, looking over the middle finger. You're strong like a warrior. Have power in your legs, power in your arms. Don't go floppy, be strong. And then pushing out. And let's have a little rest again. So wiggle your hips, wiggle your shoulders before we do our next variation of warrior. So come back to the right stance, which is foot facing that way, the other one facing the long edge of the mat. Preparing, having your hands by your side. And remember what we do, so we breathe in, knee bends, we come all the way up. And we breathe out, leg straightens, arms down. And one more time, so breathing in, arms come out and above your head, palms touch. Breathing out, arms down, legs straight, feet face forward. And give yourself a wiggle, jump your feet together. Just wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And then still. So we did do that a couple of times. Wiggle, 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 and still. And just standing in mountain pose now. Complete stillness, eyes closed. Notice the energy moving around the body. We're feeling energized from our warrior. Good, and now for the final variation of warrior, which is warrior 3. So we've done warrior 1, warrior 2, and now we're going to do warrior 3. So we did a similar pose to this before when we did soaring bird. So what we're going to do is come to the back, because this time we're going to be stepping forwards, okay? So maybe just watch me first. So from the back of my mat, I'm going to take a nice big step forward. And then I'm going to start to tip up onto the back toe. And then I'm going to lean forward, and if I want to, you can have your hands by your side, or if you want to challenge, hands out in front of you. And then coming out and stepping back. It is a challenge, I will tell you that. If you manage to get like this, that's fine, or maybe just like this. See how far you can tip. Give yourself a challenge today. It's good to have challenges. So standing at the back of the mat, choosing which leg you're going to step forward. Standing nice and tall. Taking a few deep breaths. So choose which leg stepping forward. Step it nice and far forward now. Start to put all the weight into that leg at the front whilst coming up onto the tiptoes of the back foot. Try not to twist your hips, they're facing forwards. Taking some lovely deep breaths, and we start to tip. Tip, tip, tip. Testing if you can put your hands in front of you. And just hold it for a moment, and then coming out. Tough, isn't it? Good. Well, warriors are strong and brave, so we have to be like that. We have to be brave in yoga and try things we find difficult. So let's do it again. So this time stepping forward the other foot. Big step forward. And start to lean forward into that leg, putting the weight there, tipping forward, the back foot's coming off. And again, if you feel nice and steady, put the arms forward. And then coming out with control, if you can. That's standing at the back of your mat and allowing yourself just to settle. And taking some deep, calming breaths. Good. So after that, we're going to just do a quick forward bend. So breathing in, stretch up, and we're just going to roll forwards. And hang down for a minute. You can bend your knees if you want to. You can hold on to your elbows if you want to. Taking some deep breaths. And then rolling all the way up. Taking some deep, calming breaths. We've done some brilliant work today. We've done warrior 1, 2, and 3. And even within the warriors, we did some variations. We did humble warrior. We did the breathing in and out into warrior 2. So you've done some fantastic work. It's time to have a bit of a rest now. So I'd like you to come down to your mats, and we're going to do child's pose. So firstly, before we go down into child's pose, I'll just say with child's pose, we're aiming to get our bottoms onto our heels. So we don't want to be tipping too far forward. So trying to get your bottom onto your heels, and trying to get your head down onto the mat, your forehead, this part of your head. You might hear my dog whining in the back. Come on, Lula. She can't get past because she's a bit scared of my cat. So if you do hear her whining or some strange noise, that's what that is. So let's go into child's pose. In fact, I'm just going to come here, Lula. Come on. I'll get her. You can say hello. Right, sorry, I didn't want her whining. This is Lula, my dog, so she's going to come over here. Come on, Lula, here. Right, so child's pose. She's on my mat. So sitting up nice and tall. Good girl, come on. So we're going to go into our child's pose. So sitting up nice and tall. Come on, Lula, out of the way, my darling. And then coming forward. So you're aiming to get your forehead to the mat. And just relax. Let everything be heavy. Really trying to put your forehead to the floor, but try as hard as you can to keep your bottom on your heels. It may tip up a bit, that's okay. And just allowing your body to rest. You've done some really hard work. And just this is our resting pose for a moment. Taking some lovely deep breaths. And then ever so slowly and ever so gently pushing up. Well done. Good. So we are going to finish with our Shavasana. Before we do, we're going to do a breathing pose. So I'll come nice and close to the camera so we can do this together. So this is called high five, because we're going to do breathing in for 5 and breathing out for 5. And it's a really good way of controlling the breath, and it helps us to take big, deep breaths. So when we breathe in, we're going to breathe in for 5 into the belly. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold it for a moment. And as we breathe out, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And just relax. So breathing in again for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can use your fingers if you like to. Hold it for a moment, breathing out for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And again, big belly breath in. Breathe in for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold it for a moment. And then breathing out for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lovely. So I invite you now to get into your Shavasana pose. So coming down onto your back. Arms are by your side with your palms facing up to the ceiling, which means the backs of your hands are by your sides on the floor. And just finding the most comfortable position that you can right now. And allowing your body to be heavy, supported by the ground, which means you can just let go. You don't need to hold on. Your body is upright most of the day, and it's really nice just to lie down and relax. So just allowing your body to melt into the floor, relaxing the muscles of your body so that they feel soft. There's no hardness anywhere, there's no holding on. And just release. Sorry if you can hear the noise, that's my dog having a quick drink. Just ignoring anything that's distracting you and coming back now to our breath. So we've allowed the body to relax. And now we're going to focus on the breath. So just taking some deep belly breaths, noticing the air as it enters the body, and then it travels down, expanding the belly like a balloon. And then release all the way out. Really paying attention to your breath and how it feels. So just one more really concentrating breath. So breathe in, allowing the belly to expand as the air fills the belly. And then breathing out, so all the air releases from the body. Good, and now just letting your breath be normal. And we're just going to travel around our bodies with our attention, relaxing and releasing all the muscles in each part of our body so that by the end our whole bodies feel relaxed. So begin down at your toes, taking all your attention to your toes and your feet, and just give them a squeeze to help you bring your attention there. So some movement, and then release the feet. And then again, as you breathe in, squeeze the feet, hold it for a moment, and as you breathe out, release the feet. And let's move up to the legs now. So paying attention to your legs and noticing how they feel, any sensations in the legs. And the next time you breathe in, give them a squeeze, the muscles of the legs. As you breathe out, release. we travel up to taking our spine and our shoulders, noticing how that feels. Can you feel your spine against the floor, noticing where it touches the floor? And on the next in-breath, try to squeeze the back muscles and shrug your shoulders up to your ears. Give it a squeeze. And breathe out and release. And our attention now moves from our spine, down our arms, to our hands. Our hands are very busy all day long. So now we're going to relax our hands. Just release your hands. Releasing your hands. So when we breathe in now, squeeze the hands. Maybe even include the muscles of the arms. And as we breathe out, release the muscles in the arms and the hands. Wonderful. So now our attention travels up our arms, across the shoulders, and we arrive at our head, our faces. And just trying to create some space. So if you have any thoughts or get distracted, just bring your attention back to the head and now the face. As we breathe in, scrunching the muscles up of the face, giving them a squeeze. And as we breathe out, release. And one more time, breathing in, squeeze the muscles of the face. And as you breathe out, release. And I would like you to squeeze all the muscles in your body and your face and everywhere. So as you breathe in, give your body a squeeze, huge squeeze, and breathe out, release every single muscle in your body so that every muscle feels loose and relaxed now. And just noticing how the body feels, how the mind feels. Done some fantastic work today for your body and mind. Warriors are a really good way of energizing the body, and now we are just slowing down again and relaxing the body. And just notice how that feels. If you feel fidgety, just noticing it. But just notice how your body and mind feel. Some days we feel less fidgety, some days we feel more fidgety or distracted. Doesn't matter, we're just noticing that today, as we are right now. And take one last big belly breath in. Make the belly as big as you can, and then breathe it all the way out so the belly gets small. Lovely, and now rolling onto one side so that you're curled up in a lovely little ball, giving yourself a hug. Give yourself a real big squeeze. While you're giving yourself a lovely hug, you deserve it. You've worked really hard today, so give yourself a hug. And then pushing yourself up to seated position. Just noticing how you feel before you go into the rest of your day. Just noticing if you manage to find a nice place of calm, and just to realize that place of calm is always there within us. We can always find it. It's always there for us. We just have to know how to find it. And doing our yoga is one way, doing breathing is another. Just finding that lovely sense of calmness and stillness. Well done for today. We did some challenging poses, especially Warrior 3. So well done, be proud of yourself. And so hands together now. Taking a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, bowing your head, and we say namaste. Namaste. So thank you for joining me today, and I hope you enjoyed your yoga today. Well done, and I really look forward to seeing you next time. So enjoy the rest of your day, and if you get to practice yoga at home, if you can, that's fantastic. The more you do it, the more you'll be able to find that lovely place of calm, and you'll be doing good for your body and your mind. So thank you again, and enjoy the rest of your day. Namaste.